Hey, I hope you guys are doing well. So today I'm basically going to be looking at factorizing trinomials. So that's factorization, whether you use an S or a Z over there. It's okay, factorization of trinomials. That's what we're going to be looking at right now. So, and yeah. So now here's a problem that I need us to factorize. The first one that I'm going to look at, it's 3x squared minus 2p minus 5, right? You can pause the video for a moment, right? So that we can look at this problem, right? What am I doing? So it's 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, right? Yes. So that's what we need to factorize. And you can see that clearly the coefficient of x squared is not 1 this time around. So we cannot immediately say, okay, we're going to have two brackets and then x here and then x there and figure out what numbers are going to go there. This is not going to work because this is a different kind of, factorization problem, right? Right, so this we cannot do. So really what we need to do now is to use a different approach, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, you need to be able to identify your A, your B, and your C. So from this, the A, remember this is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So you can already see, because this is in standard form. So we know that our A is 3 and the B is -2, right? And the C is -5, because remember we can rewrite this like so 3x squared minus 2x minus 5 can be rewritten like this, because I mean sometimes I have learners confusing, like not knowing whether the B is positive or negative. You see, like those kind of minor issues, like it's some of the problems that we face. So what you can do is you can rewrite the whole thing, especially with the minus signs and all that. So you're going to say, okay, this is still 3x squared and then plus minus 2, right, x, okay, plus minus 5, okay? And plus and minus is going to give you that minus over there, and plus and minus again is going to give you that minus over there. So now it becomes quite clear that, okay, this is our A, that is our B, and that is the C, right? I hope it's clear there. So now that we've identified the constants, we're ready to factorize. We're going to find the product of A and C. Okay, in other words, the first term and the last term, that we're going to multiply. So basically, multiplying the 3 and the 5. So instead of focusing on the factors of 5, we now focus on the factors of the product of 3 and 5. Right? So that's the difference with cases whereby the coefficient of x squared is not 1. Right? So let's look at that. So 3 times 5 gives us what? 15. And the factors of 15, that's what we need to look at. The factors of 15, we know that we've got 2 doesn't, so 1 and 15, and then 2 doesn't go, 3 and 5, of course. I think that's it. We don't have any other factors of 15. So now we need to be very smart, right, about these factors, okay? Of course, when we multiply these factors, we need to get, that -5 over there. Not the -5, but the 15. When you multiply the two factors, right, again, right, the difference between the problem whereby the coefficient is 1 and when it's not 1. We don't, like the product doesn't need to be 5, but 15, right? I almost made that mistake. But anyway, so when we multiply the two factors, we need to get what? 15, but it needs to be -15, because remember this is -5. So basically here we're multiplying 3 and -5. I just left out the negative, but it needs to be -15 because that's the actual product of 3 and -5. So when we multiply our two factors, we need to get what? -15. But when we sum the factors, right, we need to get the middle term, which is the B, right? And our B is -2. So whatever factors that we're going to pick here, we are then going to verify if when we add them, we're actually getting the b. So obviously, no matter what you do, 1 and 15 will never give you, negative 2, whether you're adding or subtracting, whatever signs you come up with, it simply ain't gonna work. So now we're left with 3 and 5. So let's see what combination is gonna work. So we need to get, negative 2 when we sum 3 and 5. So what are the signs gonna be? Obviously 5 needs to be negative. So negative 5 plus 3 gives us what? Negative 2, which is the middle term. And negative 5 times 3 gives us what? Negative 15. Do you understand? Which is exactly what we get when we multiply the 3 and the negative 5. So we've got minus 5 and positive 3. Okay? We've got minus 5 and positive 3. Sorry about that. So I was saying minus 5 plus 3 gives us negative 2, and minus 5 times 3 gives us negative 15. Alright? Meaning that these two pairs, right, the two factors, they they're a good fit, for whatever thing that we're trying to do. So now what are we going to do with the factors? What are we going to do with the factors? So we're going to say, can you see that we've got minus 5 plus 3? So to these numbers, we're just going to attach the x variables. In other words, we're going to say minus 5x plus 3x, which gives us what? Negative 2x, right? And that's what? That's the middle term. So by the middle term, remember we've got 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, right? That's what we have. So by the middle term, we're going to replace that with this. So 3x squared, the middle term is going to be replaced with what? This, our factors, okay? So plus minus 5x plus 3x, right, minus 5. So I mean, this represents exactly negative 2x, okay? Exactly negative 2x. So it's basically the same thing. So what we are going to do now is we're going to say, all right, now let's do grouping, okay? Let's do factorization by grouping. I mean, we're just going to remove the brackets. So 3x squared minus 5x plus 3x minus 5. So we're just going to do factorization by grouping. So we need to group the terms. And I'm thinking we group 3x squared and 3x minus 5x and minus 5. Because, I mean, you can see the 3x squared and the 3x, there's already a common factor there. 3 and 3, right? There's x here, there's x there. And then minus 5 and minus 5x and minus 5, you see there's 5 there, there's 5 there. So there's already a common factor there. So that's why I'm going to, group them in that way. So I'm going to say, okay, 3x squared together with the plus 3, right? And then minus, so let me just say plus so that you guys don't get confused. Minus 5x minus 5. Well, I'm just putting everything in the brackets like that without changing much, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a common factor here, okay? So 3 goes into both the first term and the second term, so 3 is out. Also x goes into both the first term and the second term, so 3x out. So what do we need to multiply the 3x with to get back our 3x squared? I bet you said x. And then plus, we took out 3x, okay? So to get back our 3x, what do we need to multiply with? 1. Cool. So now, what we are going to do is here, we are going to take out negative 5 as a common factor. You can see that there's negative 5 here, there's negative 5 there. So minus 5 out, and then x plus 1, because minus 5 times x is minus 5x. Minus 5 times 1 gives you what? Gives you minus 5. I did it on purpose, of course, taking out minus 5. Someone else would have taken out just the 5. But I took out minus 5 because I wanted the sign here in the middle to be positive so that I can have this bracket being exactly the same as that bracket, right? I mean, with experience, you're going to be able to figure it out. So don't stress too much about that. But yeah, sometimes you need to factor out, a negative number to make the middle sign to be positive so that your bracket is exactly identical with the other brackets. Therefore, you will have, a common factor. So now you see that these two brackets are common. So what we are going to do is we're going to take out x plus 1 as a common factor. So in other words, we'll say, okay, x plus 1 out. If x plus 1 is out here, right, what are you left with? 3x, isn't it? And if x plus 1 is out here, what are you left with? Only minus 5. And the factorization is complete. Right, factorization is complete. So the reason why I said this is a bit complicated, I mean, I don't even need to explain. You guys saw why this one is a little bit, complex, right? compared to the trinomial whereby the coefficient of x squared is 1. All right, but I mean, if you take on enough problems, you realize that this is actually easy. And yeah, like once you've mastered this type of factorization, that's going to make you very, very powerful, in algebra. Yeah, because most algebra problem actually require you to factorize. Without factorization, you're like, the weakest, warrior. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave some comments in the section below. So shout out.